Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. We have Jayesh Renee here. He is our realtor and also a mortgage loan advisor. And my name is Lelaine Felipe, and I'm also a realtor. And this is our special guest, Jose Tapatio Perez, and he is with Nueva Real Estate.
Hello, everybody. Jose Perez here, real estate broker, past president of the Greater Downey Association of Realtors. Just here to be of service and add value to as many people as we can.
Yes, and I'm Jayesh Renee. I'm a real estate agent here powered by Real Brokerage. I'm also a mortgage loan officer powered by Nexa Mortgage.
All right, well, fantastic. So now that we're all together, so for those of you, for those of many that don't know about you, can you share a little about your journey into real estate?
Yeah, it's a long one, so we're not going to have enough time in the podcast for me to share, so I'll try to cut it down. But before we get started, first and foremost, I want to thank you, Jay. Thank you, Lane. I really appreciate you guys having me as a guest. I know you guys could have any other guests here, and you picked me, and I feel honored and appreciative of you guys including me in your podcast. So I came in real estate during the short sale market. It was shifting from the short sale market into the standard market. So I literally started doing hard money loans first. Then I did what's called joint venture flips initially. But when the joint venture flips were taking too long because of the short sale market, we were having to negotiate short sales 3 to 6 months at a time, plus the time that it took to rehab the properties, plus the time it took for them to sell. I wasn't seeing any money for like 6 to 7 months, right? So I needed to get paid, and I started helping people on the retail side of real estate, and that's when I got my license at the end of December of 2013. Didn't do anything with it the first year because I was still doing flips, but that year after is when I started helping families get into homes, right? I was young, it was in my mid-20s. Now I'm 39 years old. Yeah, time flies by quick. And then I ended up helping a lot of people that wanted to get their license. And that's how I embarked into the ownership, team lead management, and real estate broker side. And I opened up my first office in Downey many years ago. Had an initial partnership, and then I went on my own in 2020, and that's when we started real estate. So it's been a lot of things that have happened in between, but I'm trying to condense it as much as I can.
Yeah, and we know that you just recently, about a year back, partnered with Power Real Estate Group. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was, I was independent for many years since I first started, just running the office and figuring things out as I went. I was never, I'm gonna become a real estate broker. I just kind of landed on becoming a broker because I like to help people and I like to contribute back. And I started helping people get their license, like I mentioned, helping them get their business off their ground and running. And I was just figuring things as I went as a new leader in the real estate world. So there's been a lot of learning in between, right? A lot of a lot of growing pains just to figure out how to help and develop people in this industry. So I found myself when I started my own brand and I split up from the past partnership where I needed to get a lot of support, a lot of help. And I knew that as independent, I can only do so much as independent. So I needed to bring in more of a nationwide opportunity to my agents so I could see bigger picture, get more tools and resources. So I embarked on the revenue share component, and I went and left the independent world and stepped into the revenue share model with EXP initially. And then I met these leaders there, which is Jeff and Jose, and we really connected really good. But at the time they were leaving EXP and they were going to Real, which is where we're at now. But I love the tools, the training, the leadership, what they were doing and how they were conducting business and how they were structured. And I knew that that's something that we needed because all I knew was independent. Technology was not my specialty. And I was, like I mentioned, when I first started, I was just figuring things out, learning from different brokers, implementing what worked, what didn't work out the door, right? So I embarked on now where we're at now, which I feel that we're in better position structure-wise, leadership-wise, tools and resources-wise. And I know that's what we needed to get to the next level. And that's the reason why I decided to merge with Jose and Jeff and embark on this new journey with Power Real Estate Group.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I completely agree with you. You know, Jeffrey and Jose with Power, they're awesome leaders. You know, we enjoy coming into the office, learning under their guidance, getting trained, you know, practicing every day, and it's a fun environment.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being with us and being our team. Really like having amazing people with good energy and our team. So I appreciate both of you guys, and this is pretty much what's showing up. Good people, and they're starting to take action with these type of podcasts and getting more exposure out there. So I commend you guys for taking this type of action.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, we are, we really believe in helping families and helping others, as well as being able to educate, the general public.
Yep.
So, thank you again for being here. And, we love being a part of, Nueva, Real, Power, all of it. So, again, just to reiterate what you said, it is really just a great group of amazing agents, and as well as mentors and teachers and training. So, I feel like we are really blessed to be, part of everything here.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's been a journey, and we're finally finding the right partnerships and the right structure and the right tools and resources. So for me, it's been a learning experience as well, but I'm grateful to be here and have great people that we've attracted like you guys, and now we get to build and get to the next level with those people.
Absolutely.
And I think the other advantage with Nueva and Power Real Estate Group is that you have a physical presence. You have an office. With the merger now, we have 3 offices.
Yeah.
One in Whittier, one in Anaheim, and the other one is in Riverside.
Correct.
I think that's a great benefit to us as an agent to come in, collaborate, learn from other agents, even to have discussions, brainstorm with our peers and help each other out. So I think that's a huge advantage. I think if there's someone out there who's trying to start up their career, I think they should definitely look at Power and Nueva Real Estate Group.
Thank you for that. Definitely will be here to help you guys and make sure that your business grows. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to hand it over to Jay, and I would love for you guys in this next segment, let's talk about some market trends.
Yeah, I think listening to your journey, Taps, it's been eye-opening for us also that real estate is not a straight path. You have made multiple turns and shifts and aligned yourself to the right market in real estate. So after gone through so many changes and shifts and everything, what trends are you really seeing in today's market that the buyers and the sellers should be aware of?
Yeah, so it's definitely been a journey, right, of different things have transpired in the industry. I can mention to you guys, I came in the short sale market, which was a new market for people in the industry to adapt to. Before that, there was an REO market, right? And then we recently had a COVID market, right? That was kind of unexpected. It was a new market for me as well as many other realtors out there, because it was a change where we have a global pandemic, but yet the real estate market just went crazy. We had like a 30% increase in values, right? And that was driven by a lot of the Feds keeping the rates at a very, very low rate. These are historical rates that we've never seen in the industry ever. So we had to adapt to that market. I remember that I had an agent and I was starting off during that time building out the new Nueva, and an agent came to me where his leadership, where he was at his old office, told him, hey, those goals that you had, you got to cut those goals by like 30 to 40% because the market we're stepping into. And me being ignorant to this type of market, I told him, hey, bro, stop listening to that leadership, because why are you going to hold back? You need to push forward more, because if you fall into that, you're not going to do the activities that you need to do. You're not going to be able to lead your team. He had a team of like 3 people, and he was getting ready in his mindset to stop doing production because his leadership told him to do 30% less work, 30% less goals. And I go, no, this is when you turn it up. Me not knowing what the hell I was talking about, right? But I just knew that, no matter what the market is, we gotta strap on our shoes, gotta go out there and get our hands dirty and put in the work. That's always been my mentality when it comes to the changes in the market and having to adapt. Is you just got to do more work. You just got to invest in yourself more. You have to do double the prospecting and double the contacts that you have to do. And I shared that with him at that moment. He actually made a move over to office, and his business pretty much doubled that year because COVID market was insane, right? So as far as market trends right now, to answer your question, we're stepping into, this is a whole new market again for us realtors, right?
Right.
For us brokers, right? And it's another way of us having to adapt and pivot. Affordability has become an issue, right? That's everywhere, right? Especially in California, we're one of the highest priced real estate other than New York, and affordability is becoming an issue. The rates are higher than ever before. We also have a combination of where the baby boomers, right? We're going through the biggest transfer of wealth right now. Going that to my buddy Manny Soto and the financial architects, he's been speaking about this shift in wealth transfer that's happening. The baby boomers are starting to die off, unfortunately, are starting to retire. And a lot of these people that are taking over the trust don't want to put the money into the houses, and they're starting to put them on the market. So what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot more inventory right now in comparison to the buyers that can afford that inventory. So what has been talked about is that we're gonna have 2 rate cuts, and we're waiting for those rate cuts because I feel that we're gonna be able to, that's gonna be able to help us with the inventory that's starting to hit the market. And also, I mean, talk about market trends. Everybody and their mama is screaming right now in this particular area, county, and state that we're in a buyer's market. We're not in a buyer's market, even though everybody is saying that. In order to be in a buyer's market, you need to have 6 months of inventory or more, right? That becomes a buyer's market. 4 months or below, it's a seller's market, and between 4 to 6 is where the market is pretty much even. We are seeing more inventory than we're seeing buyers, but we haven't hit the 6-month mark yet. So I feel that there's still certain areas that are still thriving right now, and they're still busy. I mean, I literally just have a client of mine who's qualified for 1.3 million, and we haven't been able to get him into anything because the areas that he's looking at, like your La Habra Heights, Rolling Heights, Brea, they're still pretty competitive, and they're still getting multiple offers, where you're seeing other areas where I had a couple listings in the Compton side and the Montebello side where they only had 2 to 3 offers, right? So as far as market trends, I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you where it's heading. I don't think anybody really has a grasp in regards to where we're heading to because it's a whole new market. I literally called an agent this weekend when I was in open house, and he's in the high desert area, the Inland Empire. He had 18 listings, right, that he took. I think he works with a relocation company or a company that just unloading inventory. And he goes, hey, bro, it feels like a switch just got flipped off. Right. You know what I mean? And open houses are been so slow. So we're navigating towards it. We're navigating through it, and we're adapting and pivoting right now. And so for me to tell you where the market is heading is really tough to say. But like I told the guy back then when he came to me in about 2020 is you just got to keep doing the work. You got to keep doing the prospecting. You got to continue investing in yourself. You got to really start paying attention to where your business is coming from and where you need to focus more on. Like for me, I've gotten a lot more listings in this year as compared to last year. So I know that there's still opportunity out there for agents that are willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
So don't pay attention to the noise. Just focus in, eliminate a lot of the distractions that are out there, a lot of the conversations that people are having. Just stay positive, continue pushing forward, continue building your skill set and experience, and I feel you're going to be able to thrive in this market.
No, thank you very much. I mean, that's a great insight. But I would like to add 2 more points to that. And this is what I feel is, I think because of the geopolitical tensions going on in the world, we have seen multiple wars. You know, I think that's creating some kind of uncertainty.
There's definitely uncertainty.
Even though our stock market doesn't reflect that, it's been going high. But I think people have the fear with the job insecurity to kind of make such a huge investment in real estate. I think that's also attributing to that. And the second thing, as a lender, when I talk to people, and people always attribute to the fact, oh, my interest rate is below 3% during pandemic. So I think there are those kinds of people who really don't want to move because they know that kind of interest rate is never going to come back. So that's also attributing to less people moving because they're so comfortable with that interest rate, which I don't blame them.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people are definitely sitting still because, hey, well, if I sell here, I'm gonna go from being in a 2.5%, 3% interest rate to now buying at a different price that's gonna probably take their payment up another 1,000 to 1,500. You know what I mean? And there's definitely uncertainty with jobs, right? Uncertainty with what's happening out there in the world. It is holding a lot of people back, and I think that's what's attributing to a little bit of the slowdown that we've experienced in the last quarter in the market.
But there's always going to be uncertainty.
Yes.
Period. And to Jay's point, a lot of these people, 2020 was an anomaly year for everybody, and everything that we did, real estate, business, it was, let's just call it insane.
Yeah.
And we do see these people that are afraid to, let go of that 3%. However, they are also, let's talk about this for a second. They're also sitting on a lot of equity where, yes, they're paying a low percentage, but there are other things you could do with that equity, correct?
Absolutely. You can definitely tap into that equity, buy a second investment home, or take that equity which you're sitting on, as you rightly mentioned, and invest, whether it could be stock market or any other financial product which can give you larger gains.
Yeah. Passive income, on rental properties.
Bigger returns as well.
Bigger returns.
So, again, there's never a perfect time, but sometimes you just have to jump right in.
Yeah, I always tell people, if it feels right for you and you can afford it and it's within your means and you can qualify right now, there's going to be opportunity for you that's going to come your way just by you being prepared, right? Doesn't mean you have to jump into something right away, but at least getting your pre-approval, getting your payment in order, knowing what your purchasing power is, because the more inventory that's going to come on the market, the better negotiation that you're going to be able to have with certain listings, right? And now back to the market trends, I think what's also happening is realtors and sellers are starting to understand that so what the COVID market created also, it created the mindset of a seller where they can overprice their home and get the offers that they choose to. Mm-hmm. And when that stopped, they're starting to realize that, hey, maybe my house is not worth that much that I really thought. So they're starting to understand that they have to pay attention to pricing and what's really happening in their area, because there's areas that are thriving, there's areas that are slowed down, and they have to understand where they're at. So what's happening is actually the market is educating the sellers on the fact that, hey, it's no longer that COVID market. You have to be more realistic of what's happening. So as realtors, is creating a better listing agents, I should say, is creating a better platform for us to be able to make our seller understand that pricing is key right now, and overpricing properties are not gonna they're not gonna help them. It's not gonna be a good thing for them to do. So we're starting to price properties more aggressively now, so we can get the activity we need. But even if we're pricing properties aggressively, we're still seeing certain areas where even if you price aggressively, we're not getting the activity that we want to get. But I always tell people there's always going to be a buyer for every property, just like there's a butt for every seat, right? As long as you prepare and educate your clients well, and pretty much set the expectation of where the market is, you're going to be able to have success.
Right. And you're spot on, Taps. Whenever I go around and talk to people, have conversations, and they always ask me this question: when is the right time to buy? And my answer is, if you can afford it, as you mentioned, and if you feel that the situation warrants for you to be in a home, I think the right time to buy is now. And I think I'm a living testament to this, because in my corporate world, before I got into real estate, I traveled all across the United States. And whenever I moved, I bought a home, regardless of where the market was. because I think timing the real estate market is very hard. But I think being smart, and if you know you have the means and the capacity to buy one, I think you should just go ahead and buy that home, because that home is also, from a timing perspective, it plays an important role in your family. Your kids are growing up. You can give those kids, your family members, the comfort of the home, you know. So I've always lived with that philosophy. It's always paid off. And I always say, and I'm going to reiterate this again, do not pay attention to the noise, the interest rates. If you can afford one, if your situation warrants you to be a home, if you want that home for a perfect family, I think you should just go ahead and buy one.
It's always a base and a timing that's right for you, right? Everybody's situation is different. Everybody lives different lives. So I would agree with what you said, is when the right time is for you. Don't try to force it because your cousin and this cousin did this, or your cousin told you to do that. And also, don't hold back because they said that. We've had many people who wanted to buy 6 years ago and they didn't. Right. There's many people wanted to buy 10 years and didn't, right? And they regret it every single day. Now, we do have people that bought, prices dropped, but now prices came back up and they missed the boat on that, and they left all that equity on the table as well. Why? Because they're listening to outside people that don't really know what they're talking about. So yes, is when if you feel you can afford it, it's within your means, do it. We're not here to force people to buy. We're here to guide people to buy. That's always been my thing. I'm going to guide you, and if it works for you, works for you. I'm not here to force this on you. I'm not here to force this on your family. But I do know what it can create for your family. I know the generational wealth that we're building by helping you and guiding you into the home. But yes, it's always based on when the time works for you.
Absolutely. And I mean, and you both have extremely valid points, and being ready and prepared. And we've talked about that before. And one of the ways that I've looked at it is a home is an appreciating asset. It is. It is one of the best assets to have. It's one of the best things you could leave as a legacy for your family. And however and whenever you decide to jump into it, that has to be really on that individual. And again, like you both have said, you know, talk to the professionals and really, you know, look at your own personal situation, and go with your, what's the word? Go with your gut. Sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you just got to just jump in, right, guys?
Yeah,
So
100%. I think that they always say hindsight's 20/20, and every time we look back, we wish we would have made those decisions. I think back on this short sale property that I had that I wish I would have kept. Right, I was young, new in the industry, didn't have much guidance. Right, my parents never really owned the property, so they were scared because of what happened in the 2008 market, and we grew up renting. So when I came across many properties that I was starting to flip, I should have held on to many of those, and I regret not having held on to many of those. I regret not holding on to my 3-unit property that I had. I bought a 3-unit property. I got tired of tenants and I sold that. Tenants were a headache, and I was new and I wasn't dealing with it. And I freaking sold it. But now I'm like, I wish I would have kept this. I wish I would have kept that. You know, there's always going to be that. So from my experience of having not kept that short sale property in Cheviot Hills that we bought for $400,000, whenever the timing is right, take advantage and do it.
absolutely.
All right, so moving on to our next topic, it's all about technology. And I'm very passionate about technology, and most of my viewers might not know, before getting into real estate, I was a technology executive and I worked in technology for about 26 years. And now coming on this side of the spectrum of to run a real estate business, I also now see the importance of technology. And here in Nueva and Power Real Estate Group, we have different technologies, and I really want to pick your brain about 2 different kinds of technology. One is AI, which everybody's talking about, and the second one is the CRM systems, which is also called as the customer relationship management systems, which I build for most of my career. So Taps, Can you give us some insight what role these two different sets of technologies play?
Yeah, so I'm still trying to take advantage of the AI as much as I can and understand it and use it. A lot of people are like, oh, AI is going to replace realtors. I'm like, no, I think as realtors are going to be smart enough to be able to get AI and use it so we could be more efficient, right, and to be able to do more production. Because I think the human aspect in real estate is never going to go away. Meeting somebody, showing them the house, setting all their options, right? They could go online, they could chat GPT all they want, but being out in the trenches, showing, selling, listing is never going to go away. But for me, is AI is one. We use ChatGPT on a regular basis. Or we use Perplexity on a regular. I think I said that right. Perplexity.
It's a tongue twister.
Basis. One of my agents uses that for every single thing. I'm not going to say any name because she's sending some nice, well put together emails. I'm like, this ain't you, but making you sound better, look better with your clients, right? You're getting them better information. So we're using those components of AI to help us do our business better and to help us give better information. Okay, so that's where the AI is helping us as realtors. Virtual staging is coming into a point with AI. We're able to take some pictures, stage them virtually through AI apps, right? We're able to have our descriptions on our MLS done by AI, our marketing done by AI, right? So a lot of that is being taken advantage of by us realtors in our market. And how we use it here at Power Real Estate too is what Power Real Estate was able to do is they created what's called a broker bot through AI, where they downloaded every single form that as realtors use in our everyday business, everyday life and transaction, and has trained the AI to understand it. So where all our agents, all they have to do, they don't have to text me for the information or wait for a call back from the broker. What they do is they just go into our broker bots on our Slack channel. They ask the AI a question in regards to certain contracts, and the broker bot replies with the right information from the right document that they asked a question on. So we're implementing AI and that, and our agents are able to access it and they love it. It goes and gives them a huge explanation of exactly the question they asked. They don't have to go research it. BrokerBot is there to answer that question for you. So that's the component we're using AI for our everyday business. Now, talking about the CRM and tools, we have the Follow Boss. That's one of our biggest CRMs that we use. And as many of you guys know, Zillow purchased the Follow Boss, and we're one of the Zillow preferred partners with Zillow Flex and Zillow Sellers, and they work hand in hand. So how do we use Follow Boss on a daily basis? Where we have a dialer there. It has dripping campaigns, right? So we're able to stay top of mind with our clients. It helps us manage our business on a daily basis. We have our different categories of hot leads, under contract leads, prospective buyer leads. We have different what we call pawns, where we have seller pawns, buyer pawns that the agents get to call. We have over 100,000 contacts in our database alone that we allow the agents to use to be able to generate leads and convert for business. So we love those components of technology. Like I was never a technology guy at all, so I'm starting to be more of a technology guy now because of being part of Power Real Estate Group. So I'm loving all the technology and the tools that we get to use for our business.
Awesome. No, and
Answer the question.
oh, absolutely, you did. So, no, thank you for that insight about technology. We as these agents, I think we feel blessed that we have access to this wonderful technology, and I think the power of AI kind of helps us to be more efficient. I think when you say a CRM system, I think people need to understand it is to give a customer, whether internally as agents, an extraordinary experience working in a real estate firm like Power or Nueva. And also externally, it is for our customers to give that customer-centric, extraordinary experience. Along with technology, I think the whole psyche and the mindset here we agents carry to give that experience, because home buying can be stressful, right? it can be super stressful.
Yeah.
You know, from searching from the home, going out for tours with the agent, then putting in the contract. It's a whole process, and it can be very stressful. And we try to take that stress away by managing that whole process.
I
through
used to have
technology.
hair before real estate. Look, I took all the stress from my clients.
Yes. So I think that was great talking about technology. Let's talk about Zillow. I know you and Jeffrey McGonigal and Jose Samano, I think they've worked really hard with Zillow. They kind of collaborate with Zillow very closely. They work hand in hand. And now we are the Zillow Premier team.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on that?
So it's funny, and I want to touch this because a lot of people love Zillow or hate Zillow, right? But I feel that it's a partner that's going to be here to stay. And like the old saying is, if you can't beat them, join them, right? Initially, my mindset, and I'm going to be keeping it real, right? Because we get to keep it real here, is I was very anti-Zillow, right? And I was more mad because I didn't come up with the Zillow idea first. Because you got to understand what Zillow did, right? What Zillow did is they went in there, they used our own listings as realtors, right? They went and used our listings. They built a platform line to bring the traffic in, use our listings to generate those leads. And back then, the model of Zillow was, we're going to sell you back these leads depending on the area code from the very listings that we had, right? So they were like, hey, agent, you helped us get this lead. Now we're going to sell it back to you in order to you to be able to get this lead. Fucking genius, if you ask me, because we didn't come up with it. A lot of realtors hated it. So Zillow has then since changed up his model, and now they built what's called the Zillow Flex program. Some people love it, some people hate it. I feel it's definitely going to be a good program for a lot of the new agents stepping into the business. And you know, everybody talks about, well, Zillow keeps a large amount. Yeah, they're the big giant gorilla that's generating the business and bringing it, so they're going to be able to have the leverage in regards to what they're asking for the type of leads they're bringing you. But I gotta tell people, my mindset changed when I saw the bigger picture when it came to Zillow. And the bigger picture is that Zillow's going to help you one, generate leads that you weren't going to generate on your own, right? And the Zillow Flex is you're not paying a monthly fee, you're only going to pay when you actually close a deal. Okay, so there's another benefit for somebody that might not have money, that's starting out in the business, that wants to get some deals going under their belts without having to break the bank for it, right? So that's going to be one. They're going to help you lead generate. They're going to help you build experience. They're going to help you transact more. They're also going to help you build your resume as a realtor. Why? Because now you're going to be able to have actual client testimonials that you're going to have as reviews on your profile, which people do pay attention, right? Remember, 90% of consumers go online before they even reach out to a real estate agent first. And Zillow is one of the biggest real estate platforms that's become a household name. So building lead generating, helping you transact more, getting more experience, building your resume. The next biggest thing that you have to see that Zillow is doing through the Zillow Flex program is they're helping you build your database faster as a realtor. Even though you're getting lower compensation at the front end, you're going to understand that these buyers are going to be sellers within 3 to 5 years from now. So 3 to 5 years from now you get to get compensated in your regular split that you have worked out with your broker, right? And these are also going to become your referral partners, right? So these are, let's say, a new agent we have for experience. We have Christian Rodriguez, who has already closed 10 Zillow Flex transactions, so we transition over. Your Teresa, she's already closed 8 as a new agent. This is a girl that had no real estate experience, just jumped into this business brand new. She became a student, adopted the plans, and she's already closed 8 real estate transactions. This is going to help you guys to build your business and build your mortgage experience as well. So that's why I see the big picture with the partnership of Zillow Flex. That's the positive way it's contributing to our team. It's contributing to our office, and it's helping us help agents gain more experience, build their database faster, and long-term get more referrals. And they're going to be able to leverage those referrals for more business when it comes to maybe an aunt that wants to sell the house, a brother and sister that want to sell a house, or that want to buy. These are now your referral partners that Zillow helps you get that you would have never had without that partnership, right? So I find it as a positive thing. I'm really grateful to have the Zillow Flex program, to be having it as an option to agents like yourself, Lane, and agents like yourself, Jay, because I feel that it can really contribute in a positive way. So once you flip your perspective of how the program works, you start understanding and accepting why it's going to benefit your business and your growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you're right. Partnership goes a long way, and Zillow is like a big brand, and their outreach is wide enough. I remember Zillow really got popular with their pricing tool called Z-Estimate. Zestimate.
That was an Indian.
And I remember when I used to own a home, I would go on the SG estimate and see the home value. I think that's where they got popularity, and that's when people start looking for homes, that's the first place they start. And I think they really capitalized on that idea and that traffic they got from there and converted that into a Zillow Flex program.
Yeah, you got to give them credit where credit is due. And I see his big picture. I'm a owner operator, right, and a team lead, and they're smart. Why? Because they're partnering up with only high producing teams that are already training their people. They're already doing scripts and role play. They already have the tools and the systems, and they're building a good partnership because they're supporting those systems, and they don't have the overhead. We deal with all the overhead, right? So it's a smart partnership, a healthy partnership, because it's a win-win for both parties. And I feel that that's the reason why they're having that much success with those type of programs.
But I think it's a win-win, not just for, us as Power Real Estate Nueva. One, because yes, and I'm just going to toot our horn. You were going to come and be with some of the best agents, some of the most practiced, because we go into a ring of fire and
Every single day,
and we make sure that our scripts are on point, and not that we're like robotic, but we want to make sure that we're communicating properly. We're getting the most up-to-date compliance. We even get training from Zillow themselves. So, and that is to not just benefit us, but it's to benefit those we work with.
100%.
So it's amazing. And we are a top Zillow Premier agent team.
Yes, we are. So if you're thinking of making a move, reach out to us. And look, there's a lot of things that offer this, and we've seen it. There's a lot of, shout out to my buddy. I knew Elmer from when he was at Remax, and he's become a buddy. He runs eHomes. Him and Jackie actually went to high school with Jackie, and they run a very successful Zillow Flex team. So does Power Real Estate Group. And one thing that sets them apart is they're big on structure, metrics, and accountability, right? And they help treat the business like a business. And a lot of realtors don't treat the business like a business. So I love being around that because it helps us understand business structure, accountability, metrics, and that helps us track the growth of our agents, right? And many offices, they don't give a shit. You come in, do your thing, maybe you do, you don't. Here we have subscription role play, right? We have the systems, the tools that we hold them to certain KPIs,
Absolutely.
key performance indicators, right? And then that's how the growth of the agent is happening. Through the program, we can help develop the professional, right? So I love that we have one of the teams that really puts in a lot of focus into that. They give a lot to the team. They give a lot to the agents, and they really worry about the growth of the agent. And you're not gonna find that in many offices. They don't give a shit if you're growing or not growing, to be honest with you. And here, we truly believe in helping you grow. We want you to become a better agent from partnering up with us than not, right? So that's what I love about this group and this team, and being a top Zillow Premier team.
No, you're absolutely right about that. So
Awesome. I think our viewers must have got a great in-depth what does a life of a realtor look like, and what do we do, what trainings we have to do. We are continuously always there educating ourselves, trying to be in compliance. I think our other viewers who are the buyers and the sellers, I think now they're going to really appreciate our next subject is around the buyers and sellers and the processes, which Lane is going to now head that discussion with you, Taps.
okay, so as you've been in the real estate, and you've both been in real estate a lot longer than I have. How do you help your clients feel more empowered in these selling or buying processes?
So the biggest way we can help our clients feel more empowered is by making sure that we're educating ourselves and staying at the current of the market and being very knowledgeable with the market.
Okay.
There's a lot of information out there, right? Social media has contributed to good and bad. There's a lot of people sharing really good, empowering information. There's people just sharing a lot of bullshit and a lot of lies, and they're spreading misinformation everywhere. So I think the biggest thing that you can do is for yourself is get educated, be very knowledgeable, be a true professional. We're stepping into the market where it's going to separate the amateurs versus the professionals, and professionals are going to thrive in this market. The amateurs, unfortunately, are going to be out of the market, and they're not going to be able to grow their business, right? So becoming a professional takes hours of investing in yourself, your skills, right? Your customer service, your conversion, your closing skills, right? Your appointment setting, all that is going to be important. So the best way you can help your client is by truly investing yourself to be a true professional and becoming an advisor. We talked about this when we were meeting with the last corporate people in Mozilla. What's going to set you apart is if you're going to become an advisor, and if you're truly wanting to contribute to your client or consumer in a positive way. If you're just in it to get the commission, they're going to smell the commission breath out of you, and they know you don't really have their best interest, you're going to lose that client. But once they see that you truly care, right, they say you have to be interested to be interesting, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's going to become the separation factor right now. So for me is I like to set the expectation with my client. I like to share the complete process of what to expect, what goes first is a pre-approval, knowing and understanding your payment options, your different programs, knowing what your closing costs look like, what your down payment looks like, understanding your wants, your must-have, your needs, and the ones that you can do without, right? So that's for the buyer side. On the seller side is understanding why we're pricing a certain property at a certain price, and where the buyers are coming from, and how long they're taking to sell, right? So for me, is always trying to educate my consumer as much as possible. Like for example, I've been to listing appointments where I've told the seller, hey, other realtors will sit there and tell you, hey, you need to sell right now, and hurt their pockets by not being patient because they don't understand the 2-year rule where you're able to get exempt up to $250,000 if you're a single person just by living as a primary residence in your home for 2 years, or if you're a married couple, $500,000, right? If you're both on title, a lot of agents are going to sell the house even if they're 2 to 3 months away from being in that 2-year period, just so they can collect the commission, and they just cost their client an extra $30,000 to $40,000 in taxes by only thinking about themselves as opposed to the consumer. So I like to educate them in regards to what's available to them for primary homeowners, 1031 exchanges, right? And me being knowledgeable in those type of programs that are going to be tax deferment programs or tax saving programs.
No, you brought up a great point. I'm a big believer that you should educate your client and give them options.
Yes.
That's why I call myself as a mortgage loan advisor, and I built this website for my clients, which is called JR Loans by Design. This is where I will sit with my clients, give them the different options, and kind of design the loan which fits their financial situation. As you said, you don't want to put a client in a house as a realtor, and I don't want to put a client as a loan officer where it will hurt them in the long run. I think commission is not everything for us. It is the satisfaction of making sure that they landed up in the right home, they have the right payment to support their lifestyle, and that they will enjoy that home for many more years to come.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop there, Jay and Lane. To answer the question is how do we prepare our clients is we educate them also in what to do after they've purchased, how to protect their assets, right?
Absolutely,
the difference between what a probate is and what setting up a trust is, and how much more money they'll save in the front end by having a trust versus, God forbid, look, two things are always guaranteed: taxes and death. We're all gonna die someday, right? But how well have you set up your family to be able to deal with things after your death? And a lot of agents that just want commission won't tell their client, hey, I advise you to get under a trust because this and that. Hey, do you know what the cost of a probate is if you passed away and you don't leave anything behind? Even if you have a will, guys, you're gonna need to go to probate.
No, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that I've learned, it's always the mission before the commission. And as realtors, as mortgage advisors, we do have a responsibility to watch out for our clients' best interest and to give them the best guidance. Protection. I mean, my background in accounting, money, finance, etc. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, but at the end of the day, it's always about protection. That's it. And our clients don't know what they don't know. And if there are people, yes, they're going to be like, you know what, go ahead, sell your house. I don't know the tax implications, but that's okay. Do it. You know what? Advise them properly. Yes. Make them feel like, you are their trusted advisor. Mortgages. One of the reasons I love when Jay and I get together, you know what? I bring him. He's with me with my consultations because guess what? Sometimes they don't know what a mortgage is or what they need. And what I love about what he does with Nexa and him as an advisor, he's great with numbers, but he also knows what they need and he listens. He's always like, okay, another point I'm going to make also, solutions. Our clients need solutions. This market, like you said previously, is an anomaly, right? Mortgage-wise, house-wise. So our clients...
There's a lot of moving parts in this market.
There's more moving parts than we know what to do with. And that's why we have to be the trusted advisors to give them options and solutions.
100%. Yeah, but I think that's a great point you brought up, Lane. And sometimes as realtors and mortgage advisors, we should not be afraid to tell the client it's not the right time or it is not beneficial for you to buy a home. And we just did that in one of our consultation with one of the buyers, and we looked at the financial situation and we said, I think financially this will not be the best route for you to buy a home here in California.
Yeah.
You have to look at those numbers. You have to look at what works for your clients, and it is a fiduciary duty that we work for our clients' best interest.
Do the right thing for our clients.
Do the right thing.
Literally
Look out
do
for
the
your
right
clients.
thing.
Protect your
Right.
clients.
And as you have brought up, is we have to serve our clients after they get into the home, and that's a great point. Trust. Make sure you have umbrella insurance. We are not the experts, but we will guide you and we will start that process for you by having that discussion. So the house buying process doesn't stop when we hand over the keys to you. It has just started because now you bought the home, you got to protect that home, you got to think about the future.
Absolutely.
And everything starts. And here in Nueva and Power, we are a one-stop shop.
Yeah, we do
can
have the
refer you out to our
resources.
different
Yeah.
vendors.
What people don't know is I work really closely. One of our partners, vendors, I would say, is the financial architects with Manny, because they also have what's called mortgage protection in the event that something was to happen to your loved one. There's the life insurance policies that are going to be able to protect you and help with covering the mortgage if, God forbid, something happened to you, right? So working with a true professional is going to have the resources to be able to help you with anything that has to do with you now purchasing a property and what comes after purchasing the property. So I feel we truly have the resources here. Yeah. We truly have the collaboration here, and we truly have the experience here for that.
Yeah, we are like, I mean, even in our learning sessions and our script sessions, I mean, we will go off and talk about these things, taxes, again, trust. And, when you purchase a home, even if you're single or a family or you have a partner, at the end of the day, again, God forbid anything happens to anybody, you have to have a plan. Do you know about estate taxes? Do you know about all of these things. And,
Inheritance tax.
inheritance tax, woo, that's a whole other
Yeah.
topic. But we believe that we have to educate and talk about these things. And nobody likes to talk about them. Nobody, we do. We love to talk about this because you know what? If we think about how is it going to affect our clients? So,
Got to put yourself in their shoes and
Yeah.
in their seat.
Yeah.
And if that was your mom, your dad, how well would you want somebody to take care of them? And I think if we start changing that perspective as real estate professionals, your business is definitely going to change. Even if you don't get the business right there and then, at least you educate them and you put them in a much better position that's going to help their families if something happens to them.
Yeah.
You just did a right thing for that consumer and you did a good deed and you can sleep well at night. And I like to sleep well at night. And that's how I prepare my clients for that. It was a long answer for that question, but
No, absolutely.
but I'm glad we
100%
had that
agree.
conversation.
I love that. One question and everything comes out of it. And that's great. And I think that's what our clients need. So what is one actionable step, for our buyers and sellers? What do you think they should do to be like better prepared, whether they're buying, selling, thinking of investing, refinancing? And I'm going to kind of point this question to you as a realtor, broker, and to you as a mortgage advisor, because I think it's two parts, and I think it's really important to get both.
Yes, definitely. There's always going to be two sides in every real estate transaction, the buying side and the selling side. For the buying side, how you can prepare is, take care of your credit, be able to save money. Don't be like me that didn't save money when I was young, especially for the young buyers out there. One thing I wish I would have done more of at an early age is been a big saver, because that helps you be more prepared when it comes to the purchasing. So take care of your credit, save the money, right? And make sure that you're making good life choices at the end of the day. That's how you're going to be able to prepare to purchase. And then understanding what the qualifications you need. I'm going to let Jay handle what you're going to need to be able to qualify and how you prepare yourself to qualify for a mortgage. On the selling side, everything's going to depend really on the situation. Mm-hmm. Some people are selling because their loved ones passed away and they have no choice and they don't have the money to be able to sustain the home. You really can't do much to prepare for that type of situation. One is work with an individual, a realtor that's going to look out for your best interest. I literally just helped family who has a trust. Their dad is already 93 years old, still alive, but it's too big of a house for them, and they wanted to make sure they work with the professional who's going to be able to handle that home that they grew up in all these years. Mm-hmm. And got a good family in there. And thankfully we were able to get above market value for it, above asking price for it, and we were able to get a buyer into escrow within a week of us being listed. And the way that I prepared them, I met with them initially, found out what their timelines look like, mm-hmm. and what was more important to them and what their ideal situation was, right? So you as a real estate professional is understanding what your client's ideal situation is and then catering to that ideal situation and going above and beyond is what's going to help. But for them to prepare, they had to get the house cleaned out, decluttered, making sure that the house showed really well. Because of course, if you want to get top dollar, you want to invest in making sure that the property looks as best as possible. Even though it was completely outdated, the house, right? The carpets were staying, all that. We were able to get our cleaning services in there, get the property deep cleaned out. They were able to box in a lot of stuff, put a lot of stuff in the garage. So they were able to prepare the home to be able to show the best possible, so we can make sure that we're catering to the buyers. So that's how most people can prepare on the selling side. And also prepare yourself on knowing and understanding that right now, homes across the state of California are spending more days on the market. And knowing that you're going to stay on the market longer if you don't price yourself right, and pricing yourself right is going to come to hiring the right real estate professional, right? So that's how the buyer side can prepare, which Jay is going to touch on what you need to be able to purchase. And then on the selling side is going to be based on their situation. Right now we're seeing listings coming from divorce sales. We're seeing listings come from the trust. Wow. We're seeing a lot of probates, right? We're seeing a lot of the baby boomers that are dying off and their families just wanting to sell and liquidate because they also have the baby boomers are getting old and they have to pay for their medical expenses, and the only money they have is from the equity of the house, right? So there's a lot of different moving parts and different situations. So to prepare as a seller, it's going to depend on your situation. Make sure you consult with a real estate professional beforehand so that you can maximize your profitability when you're selling. And on the buyer side, make sure you're meeting with a good mortgage professional, a good real estate professional, so you can discuss timelines, mortgage payments, and your purchasing options.
Yeah, so let's talk about financing for when you're a buyer. So when you're buying your home, I think, as you know, Taps touched on it, credit score, very important. As they say, you need to have healthy finances, and it starts with having a great credit score. So look at your credit score. And if you don't know, most of your banks where you are banking with, either you have a checking account, a savings account, or whether it's your credit card, log in and there is a free credit score. Check your credit score regularly. Look at if your credit score seems to be off, order a free credit report, but you have to stay on top of your credit score. I think that is the most important and a powerful tool when you go out to shop for loans. As a requirement, when you're ready to buy a home, get your last 2 years of tax returns, your bank statements, your pay stubs. All these things are good preparation tools for you to gather these documents so that they can help you move during the buying process very smoothly. Now, if you're refinancing, you already know the process and you have been through the buying process. But even when you're refinancing, again, you need the same kind of documents. You have to have a guess that your property is appraised appropriately and your loan to value ratio is somewhat below 75 to 80%, so that the bank can really come and give you a refinance and offer you refinance option. So those are my little pointers when you're trying to shop for mortgage and trying to prepare to buy your first home.
And I love those actionable steps for our buyers and sellers. And one thing that you both really harp on is your credit. And, you know, great actionable steps that are, I think they're attainable. Even, you know, to somebody like, let's say they're like, oh my gosh, my credit isn't that good and all that. What I'm hearing is that be prepared and pay attention. Pay attention to those things and have your documents ready. Because, you know, if you're not paying attention to your life, and life happens, okay? Let's all be honest, okay? But, you know, if buying a home and refinancing, pay attention to those things, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid. Asking for help is free. Yeah?
Yeah. I just want to add...
Closed mouths don't get fed. Remember that. Closed mouths don't get fed.
I just want to add one more thing, and I don't want to scare the buyers that if you have bad credit, that there is no way you can buy a home. You know, we here with Nueva, we have a lot of vendors who will help you with credit repair, but we can work with a lower credit score, but it's a higher interest rate you have to pay, and that reduces your buying power. So the message here is look at your credit score and just keep a good check on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Monitoring.
Funny part is when I first started, I was doing credit repair, and I needed my credit repair.
The credit repair. It's like the doctor trying to heal himself. I totally get it.
I learned about the different categories of credit and everything like that. So yeah, I know that the lowest you can do is 580, but you're not gonna get a great interest rate at 580, right? I think for FHA you want to have a 660 or better, and anything above 700, it's already tier 1 credit. So make sure you guys are taking care of that. Okay.
And this is really just to encourage everybody, and educate, because that's what we're here for: educate and guide. Okay, so tell us and our viewers what does success look like for you? How do you define success?
You know, it's a $1 million question, right? For me, I've always go back and defining success exactly how Earl Nightingale defines success. And for the ones that don't know who Earl Nightingale is, I recommend The Strangest Secret in the World. Earl Nightingale is an audio that you can see on YouTube, and he defines success as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Now, what does he mean by that? He means that you're constantly progressing to realizing the vision or the idea that you had in your mind for success. Meaning, a school teacher is successful because they wanted to be a school teacher and they progressed to realizing that goal of becoming a school teacher. I don't think success has anything to do with money, although that's what we usually place success with money, right? I feel that success is anybody that's progressing towards realizing the worthy ideal they had in their mind of what they wanted to accomplish. The stay-at-home mom, because she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and she wanted to raise her kids, could be a success. Also the entrepreneur who built a company from scratch, went through their downfalls and is continuing to still come after that vision of himself, even though that he's failed financially, he's still working towards it. It's a success, right? Somebody's actually made it is also a success, right? So for me, is that the progressive realization of a worthy ideal is how I define success in my book.
That's well said.
That is very, very well said.
And just to pivot off that, at 18 years old, I listened to that audio, I watched that video on YouTube, and it changed my perspective of why some people have success and why many people failed. And there's always one thing that they failed to put. So I'm not going to tell it to you. Go listen to the audio, The Strangest Secret of The Strangest Secret in the World by Earl Nightingale. Not The Secret. None of that BS
No,
where you think and great things are going to come. Nothing's going to come to you if you don't take action. You can't just be in the sofa flipping through channels and thinking that, oh, because I'm thinking I'm going to have success, I'm going to manifest it sitting in the fucking sofa not doing shit. It's not going to happen. You need to actually take action and then the opportunities start opening themselves, right? So The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that thought. I think this has been an excellent podcast. This is not the end of the podcast, but I think this is going to be the beginning of many more podcasts to come. I think where we're going to talk about life, success, failures, and topics around real estate. So I think the viewers will be excited to our next podcast. But
Absolutely.
what's your final message, Lane, for our viewers?
You know, every day that we get to be above ground is a gift. Every single day.
Said that this morning. That's funny. Any day above ground is a blessing.
Every day. And not everybody is granted a long life. I mean, speaking from experience, you know, my father died at 45, and that's very young. I'm thankful that, you know, I have great partners, great mentors, and honestly, being a little girl that had a mom that grew up in real estate and being here now as an adult in real estate. Oh my God.
My daughter, by the way, I burned my daughter out. She does not want anything to do with real estate.
Well, I
used to take her door knocking to showings and she's, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore.
You know, and I thought I was going to get burned out too. But at the end of the day, you know, Jay asked me one time, he goes, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And I said, you know, I want to buy a house. I want to get into real estate. And here we are. And really, with all of the technology that we have, all of the learning, the mentorship, just be grateful and thankful. And success looks different for every one of us. And it's not just monetary. It's how you see your life unfolding and how you're living it, whether through each failure, through each triumph, you still have to keep going. And it's not a failure until you decide to absolutely quit. Don't quit. Don't quit on yourself and don't quit on your dreams because they're still alive, because you are.
Great advice. 100%.
So, I appreciate you both. And is there anything else that you would like to end this with?
No, I think life is full of challenges and surprises. I think you just need to learn to navigate through it. You need to find right mentors, and you can always take help by, you know, spirituality, talking to people, being in discussion groups, opening yourself up. Planning is the first step to success. So if you put a plan in place, whether you're going through life challenges or financial challenges, or even the stress of looking for a home, all starts with good planning, good discussions with the right advisors in whatever you're trying to do, whether you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to buy your next car, or the next fancy gadget. It's planning, research is the first pivotal step to success. And even if it's not possible and you fail, it's okay. Failure is the first step to success. That's what they say.
Love that.
Failing forward. Life is never easy for all of us. On the camera, everything looks good, but we all have had our challenges. Taps has shared us. I'll be sharing some of my life challenges, my career challenges in the next podcast. And we just really want to get out the message to all of you that we are human beings at the end of the day. You do see us as realtors, mortgage loan advisors, as a broker, but we are human beings. We have gone through different challenges and experiences, and we would love to share that with you, help you, guide you, talk to you. So, again, what we are going to do is we're going to end this podcast with our contact information. So, I'm going to start with Lane.
You know what? You could find me on Instagram, Lane Felipe Realtor. And you could also send me an email, Lelaine at powerreteam.com. Whether it's just to ask a question, whatever it is for any of us, please don't hesitate. Asking questions is free. It's fine. Okay.
You can find me on Instagram under Broker Taps. Our social media page for the real estate is at Nueva Real Estate. One piece I want to end it for myself is I've always given this advice, and I will give it to my young self, is one, this is a journey. Embrace the journey, learn from the journey, grow from the journey, but never, ever, ever compare your success with other people's success or your life with somebody else. You don't know the challenges they overcame. You don't know the shortcuts some of these people actually took. I know a lot of people have, social media is a big contributor towards us, how do you say it? We idolize people that are cheating people to get to where they're at, and that's not the way I want to build and grow my business or how I want to achieve success. So don't get caught up in the social media world where you're trying to compare yourself and your situation to somebody else's, because you're in your journey where you need to be, because it's the stage that you need to be on. And if success hasn't shown up for you, it's just not your time yet. Be patient, continue working towards it, and continue believing in yourself. One thing that I've never lost is believing in myself, my skill set, and my positive contribution that I want to bring to this world. So just stay in your lane, like they say, and make sure that you're not comparing your life to somebody else's, and don't be so hard on yourself because you're not achieving what other people are achieving. That's their journey, that's their time, is their chapter 15 towards your chapter 1. That's it. So just stay focused on what your vision is of you and continue pushing forward.
Thanks, Taps. My final message, I pivoted from my corporate career to help people be successful, whether it's real estate or life. So if you want to talk about real estate, I'm on Instagram, JR Expert Realty. If you want to talk about loans, mortgages, or if you have any other questions, I have another handle for loans, which is JR Loans by Design. Again, thank you very much.